Hey guys, what's up? Today we will talk about needs and especially how to discover your needs, how to figure out your needs, and how to communicate them with the people you care about or even with strangers because I believe that it's a crucial skill in our self-development, in just getting what we want, to first of all be able to aware of our needs, and secondly knowing how to ask for them. And this is something that I noticed that a lot of people actually struggle with quite a bit. They know they have certain needs, but they actually don't know what are those needs. They are aware that there is something that they would need, but they don't really have the awareness on what it is exactly that they need. And some people are not even aware that they have needs. They just act and react without actually knowing and paying attention to their behavior. So one of the interesting distinctions you can make is that there is needs you have in a certain situation, and then there is needs you have in general, right? So a good way to look at, to start, a good point to start is to look at your behavior. What are you doing on a daily basis? And examine your behavior. So for example, you can isolate yourself and you actually understand that you feel sad or lonely because of that. Well, then your behavior is actually some kind of protection mechanism because need you have a need for connection, but you're scared that people won't be able to give you to fulfill that need. You're afraid to put it on the table. So what you do is you isolate yourself, but you actually feel even more lonely because you have this need for connection and you're just afraid to ask for it or to get out there to connect with people in order to fulfill that need, right? So this is just one example of how your behavior can actually be a good start to look at to get the big picture of what are your biggest needs. And there's actually, I read this book, Nonviolent Communication, and in this book he describes seven seven basic needs. And of course there's many different ways to describe needs, and there's many different theories and lists, but I really like this one because I feel like it's very inclusive. So the seven main categories of needs are their connection, honesty, play, physical well-being, peace, autonomy, and meaning. So a few examples of connection could be safety, security, stability, support, warmth, trust. Physical well-being would be air, food, rest, sexual expression, shelter, touch. These are very important. Honesty, authenticity, integrity, presence. You can have a need for that, right? When you're in a conversation and you have a need for integrity, for presence, you want the other person to pay attention, to listen to you. This can be a need that you have, right? Then there's play, which can be joy and humor. You can have a need for laughter, when you feel like I need to release some of the tension. Laughter and humor can be a very, very good antidote for stress and for fear and anger even. Then you can have a need for peace, which can entail beauty or communion, ease, equality, harmony, inspiration. Then there can be needs for autonomy, which involves choice, freedom, independence, space, spontaneity. And then lastly, meaning, which can be celebration, life, challenge, clarity, competence, hope, growth, effectiveness, efficacy, purpose, self-expression, stimulation, understanding. These are all um, examples of when you might have a need for meaning. And it's important to read up on these lists so you can get some kind of like emotional vocabulary that describes your list. You can improve your emotional granularity, if you will. And this is a concept from How Emotions Are Made, the book by I don't remember her name, Betty. Anyways, How Emotions Are Made. You will find it if you look it up. I highly recommend you check it out. It's a really, really interesting scientific book on emotions. and she has a chapter on emotional granularity, and basically what it means is that you improve your vocabulary to describe your emotions and your needs, and this can greatly enhance and improve your overall well-being because you're able to communicate what you feel and what you need to other people more effectively, right? So reading up on these lists can really help you pinpoint the things that you need in the specific situations, right? So how do you figure out your needs, right? Because that is for some people very, very difficult, and for me it was too. Actually, it was really difficult. I was thinking about it, and I realized that yes, this was not something that was straightforward for me at all. So how I learned to discover my needs is basically through an iterative process. I go through the loop. I feel something, I act a certain way, I reflect on that behavior, and then I understand this was actually the underlying need, right? So to start off, step one, basically, if you want, you feel inside yourself. How do you feel? You can even try this with me right now. Take a moment. How do I feel? Do I feel calm? Do I feel peaceful? Do I feel stressed? Do I feel overwhelmed, chilled, thirsty? Do I feel anxious? Do I feel jittery? Do I feel happy, glad? Am I grateful? Right? What do you actually feel? And then once you feel how you feel, for me, I feel peaceful. I feel excited. I feel engaged. Right? This is how I feel right now, which is great. It's a good feeling. That's also why I love doing these videos, because it makes me feel like this, right? So this is how you feel. All right. So then you can zoom in and try to pinpoint your need. And this is usually the hardest part. Not always, but sometimes for some people, actually feeling inside themselves and feeling how they feel is the hardest part. But the second part was usually for me the hardest part, and it was a process of trial and error most of the time. But you can actually be one step ahead and think, okay, I feel right now like this, and I'm communicating with someone. Take a moment to be mindful about how you feel and think, okay, how would I want them to act right now? What would be the ideal way for them to act in this very moment? Would it be that they reply to my text? Would it be that they give me a hug? Would it be that they bring me food? Would it be that they clean my room? Would it be that they listen to me? Would it be that they tell a joke? Whatever it is, imagine what would be the perfect behavior for them to engage in, and then what does that behavior mean to you? Think about that. What does this behavior mean? If they would give me a hug, what would it mean? It would mean that they love me. If they would bring me food, it would mean that they care about me being hungry. If they would reply to my text, it would mean that I am at least important enough for them to take a moment out of their day to send me a text, right? This is what it would mean. Considering your own assumptions and projections and limiting beliefs and everything, the whole package creates this meaning for you, right? Because if you think about it, their ideal reaction would be to reply to your text or you text you back. Okay, this would be what you need. And the meaning, if they would reply, it means they care about you, right? But maybe they are in this very moment not able to reply because they are super busy and they're, I don't know, or they have some very complicated situation that they need to navigate, and they are not sending you replies. So you feel sad, you feel maybe disappointed, you feel maybe even resentful because they are not fulfilling your need, because you think you're not important to them because they don't reply to your text, right? So this is a crucial thing to understand, that okay, I can have a need, I give a meaning I project the meaning onto their behavior and I extract meaning out of that, and this either makes me feel good or it makes me feel bad or it makes me feel whatever, right? So understand that this is very important to be aware of, that the meaning you attach to their behavior is actually what ultimately decides your mood, your emotion, your feeling, right? Because if you then learned that, oh, they were so caught up in this one situation. They were in crazy trouble. A criminal put a gun to their head, right? And they took their phone. Okay, if you know this information afterwards, and you know, of course, they couldn't reply to me, oh, hey, are you okay? And you know that they care about you, right? So it's about their behavior, the meaning you attach to that, and that gives you kind of the feeling. So it's important to think about what would be their ideal behavior in this situation. Find out the meaning underlying your need for them acting a certain way. Find the need that is being fulfilled by that behavior, the meaning you give to that behavior. And then you can notice, okay, right now I have a feeling, a need for connection, right? Or I have a need for honesty. I'm in communication with somebody, and their ideal behavior would be that they pay 100% attention to me in this conversation, because I feel like I really need that attention to feel safe, to share what to share what I want, a need for safety, right? So them listening 100% with 100% attention, this is their behavior. And what it means to me, that it would mean that they are present, that they are paying attention, that I can feel safe. This is what it means. So if you peel back the layer, then you can share this need with them. Hey, I have a need for connection. I have a need for safety. I have a need for presence, right? This is a need that I have. And then you can tell them how they can fulfill that need. You can ask them to help you fulfill that need. So the third step in the process, so first zoom in. So first of all, focus on how you feel. Then zoom in and pinpoint your need. Then thirdly, ask yourself, what do you really, really need? Okay? Free yourself of your own inner judgments about your need. This is a crucial thing to understand, that so many people, they feel as if their needs are not okay. They are not worthy of getting their needs met. They have a fear of disturbing the peace in the relationship. They think that their needs are unimportant, and this creates a doorway to abuse, right? Because you feel like your needs are not worthy of being met. Then the other person, of course, just rolls over you like a bulldozer almost, Like if you don't take your needs seriously, and if you don't step up for your needs, then the other person can easily just walk all over you, right? But this creates so much resentment and stress and tension. This is not good. But in order for you to be able to share your needs, you first need to become aware of your needs. You need to change the limiting beliefs about your needs. So you need to understand that I am a human being who deserves respect, and the needs that I have are valid. The needs that you have are always valid, right? That doesn't mean that they have to be met all the time, 24/7 by everyone around you. That's not the case, right? So your needs are valid. However, the subsequential behavior of others, this is their choice. They are free to do what they want. They don't owe you anything. So the fourth step in the process is that you can request people to meet your needs. And this is a very, very important step in the process of getting your needs met, of figuring out your needs even, right? Because sometimes you can say something to someone to do X and they don't do it, and you feel hurt, you feel sad, you feel angry, whatever it is. So they didn't meet the need. Sometimes you don't even know why exactly you feel sad, because they didn't do what you expected them to do. So this is how I learned to figure out my needs, because I acted a certain way that I didn't really want. Like, it wasn't a way that I didn't really want to act. I acted unconsciously. I hurt the person that I was in a relationship with, not necessarily a romantic relationship. It could be a friendship or family, whatever. I hurt this person, or I could feel that I affected them negatively. Let's say it like that. Not necessarily hurt them, but I affected them negatively. And then I started to think about my own behavior. Okay, what actually happened? Why did I act like this when they didn't do X, right? And then I could figure out the underlying need. And so that's how I discovered my own needs. And it's a painful iterative process. It's an iteration that is quite painful, because you impact others negatively. And of course, as an empath, it hurts to feel that another person is hurting or that you affect them negatively. It's very difficult to deal with that. So of course I was thinking about how I affect the other person. Why did it affect them like that? Why did I act that way, right? And then you can really, if you take the time to think about your own behavior, to reflect on your own behavior, you will start to see patterns, and you will start to notice, okay, actually in that moment I just needed them to listen to me, right? Because I had a need for safety and for presence, because for me it means that my problems are important enough for them to pay attention to, right? And of course, if you are not convinced that your need is valid and that you deserve to get it met, you deserve to get it met in the sense that if it's with the right intentions and it's not a demand, so this is the fourth step, then you deserve to get your needs met. And not everybody is responsible to get your needs. Not just single one person is responsible to get your needs met. You are responsible to get your needs met, right? But how do you get them met? First of all, learn how to meet them on your own. Not always, not completely, but most of the time it's important to learn how to meet your own needs. And secondly, learn to verbalize your needs to other people in a respectful manner. And so this is where the fourth step come in, is invite other people to meet your needs. And it's crucial here that you verbalize your needs as a request or an invitation, not as a demand. And how do you make the distinction between a demand and a request or an invitation? Well, you look at your at the following behavior. So when you make a request to get a need met, and the other person doesn't meet that need in the exact way you asked for it or you wanted, and you act all upset, or you act angry, or you stonewall them, or you turn your back, or you get angry, or whatever, it's kind of like a punishment, right? So this leaves the other person with no choice than to either endure the suffering that you cause when they don't meet that need, or meet the need, and eventually they will start to understand that, okay, I really don't have a choice here, because when he or she asks me to do something, or when he or she shares a need with me and I don't meet that need in that very moment, they get upset, they punish me. It's negative, it's suffering. So either they will turn away from you and they will distance themselves slowly. If they are healthy people with healthy boundaries, they will understand that, okay, this is not how I want to be treated. I want to have a choice to meet the needs of him or her, and not feel like I am being punished if I don't meet that need. Or even better, they will tell you that, hey, I want to meet your need, but right now it's not possible, and you're acting negatively and it's affecting me, so it feels like I don't have a choice to meet your need because you act in a punishing way, right? So these are the people with healthy boundaries, and it's very difficult, and you need to be very super aware to know this, to notice this, and to tell it the other person. It requires a lot of courage and strength to do that, and it depends on yourself too. Like, how do you react to this type of feedback, etc. So this is another video that I will shoot about giving and receiving feedback, and being in a demand for feedback, being open to people giving you feedback that makes you grow, right? But so, and the other people who are not very secure in themselves and who don't really have these strong boundaries for themselves, well, they will meet your need, but with a sense of resentment, because they didn't have the choice to either choose it or not. And even if they wanted to meet the need, if they know that you would have punished them if they chose not to, that generates resentment. And I have experienced this firsthand, where I felt like, okay, I don't really have these strong boundaries within myself when I grew up. And so people ask me to do things which I didn't really want to do, but I did out of fear. And it creates this resentment inside yourself, mostly towards yourself, because you were not brave enough to step up and to share that, okay, right now I can't meet that need, right? But you learn, you fall flat on your face, and you learn, and you get back up, and you continue your process. And right now I feel like I have very strong boundaries around this. I can really state that, hey, right now I can't do this, and it's not because I don't care. And you try to, of course, let the other person know that it's not just like, no, and no further explanation. No, of course I empathize with the fact that they have a need, and I understand that it requires bravery to ask to get your needs met too, right? I mean, not for everybody. Some people are just blatantly telling other people what they want them to do, but most empaths, they are afraid that their needs are not worthy of being met. They are scared to share. They are scared to disturb. You are scared to disturb the harmony in a relationship, or you're afraid that your need is actually silly, or that it is actually not really necessary in the situation, or whatever it is, right? And so it's important to understand, to learn that your need is always valid. The way you feel, what you need, is always valid. However, it's not their responsibility to meet it, it's your responsibility, and you can learn ways to meet your own needs. For example, if you have a need for food, well, you can go up and cook something. You know, you're not a helpless baby that cannot walk to the fridge and grab a piece of fruit or whatever it is, right? Or if you feel a need for purpose and meaning, well, okay, go look for that, write something down, talk to somebody, do something where you can help someone else. I mean, of course, these are ways that I create purpose and meaning, right? But for you, it will be maybe something totally different. Go create a piece of art, or play some music, or whatever. Pet your dog. It doesn't matter. But if you have this need for purpose and meaning, well, you have to take responsibility for that and figure out ways to meet your own needs, right? But in the situation of personal relationships, this can be a little bit more difficult, because sometimes there is needs that are kind of like dependent on other people. You know, this need for connection. Of course, you can connect with yourself, etc. But we're all social beings, so we need this togetherness somehow, and somehow sometimes it's the need is a little bit influenced or dependent on the other person, and that's where the true difficulties kick in, right? To allow for the other person to really make a choice, to decide that, okay, right now I don't want to do it, even, you know, I can't, or I don't want to. It's their choice is also 100% valid, you see. And of course there is nuanced situations, and I don't want to say that in every single scenario it's always applicable. No, there is always exceptions to the rule, right? But in general, you just want to make sure that your requests and your needs are formulated as requests or invitations, and not as demands, because it will make people resentful, and in the end you lose, right? Because they do something for you with a resentful feeling, and then eventually they will associate negative feelings with you, and they will, the energy will shift. It will not be an energy of, I want to meet your need because I want to help you, I want to be there for you, I care about you. No, it will be more like, I will meet your need because I know that you expect it from me, and otherwise you will punish me with negative consequences. And that's what you want to avoid. You want to be a person that is very aware of their needs, is able to communicate them with respect, and is okay with people not meeting their needs when you ask for them. Sometimes you can be feeling super needy, and then it's okay to share that, like, hey, I feel so afraid right now to share this need because I feel like it's a very strong need. And even verbalizing the fear, verbalizing that you are afraid that they won't be able to meet that need, and that it would make you feel hurt, right? That you would feel hurt. Even saying that, it can already help tremendously, because the other person can then be compassionate about your current state. Sometimes we can find ourselves in a very, very stressful situation where we feel super needy and scared and vulnerable. And if you can say that, it requires a lot of bravery to do that. It's very, very important that you understand that this is something that is not easy to do, and if you do it, it requires a lot of bravery, and you can be proud of yourself for doing these things, right? It's something to be proud of. You can use these situations where you can know that actually I show up for myself, I share this fear, I share this need, I overcome this fear. I am brave, and that's something that can really ripple through other areas of your life, where you can feel brave in taking action towards building your dream, or where you can be brave in offering help to other people, for example, right? So it's very, very, very important to learn to become aware of your needs. Really spend a big chunk of your time figuring these needs out. Think about this stuff. Really, it's very important, because if you're able to communicate your needs more clearly in a respectful way, well, guess what? You are more likely to get your needs met, because also guess what? People are not mind readers. So if you have a need and you expect other people to meet that need without even knowing that you have it, and then acting all upset and angry and resentful because your needs are not getting met, or silently retreating, because that's also another way you could deal with this, is you think your needs are not worthy of being met, so you don't say them out loud, and then they actually don't get met, so you actually confirm the belief that your needs are too unimportant to get met. Well, this is a negative thought loop that can cause a lot of damage, and it's not good. Really, it's not good to think this way. No, it's not because your needs are not worthy of being met. Your needs are not worthy of not being met. Did I say that right? Your needs are not unworthy of being met. That's what I wanted to say. No, your needs are just not being communicated. So how do you expect them to be met, right? So learn this, and be brave about it. Conquer the fear of thinking that your needs shouldn't be met by yourself and by other people. Conquer this fear. Of course, they should be met at some point, and not like most importantly by yourself. They should be met by yourself, so you have responsibility to meet your needs. However, you can invite other people to help you and to meet certain needs that you can't really meet by yourself, and do it with in a request. You know, having a very intense need, or a need, and it not being met, it's not gonna kill you. Of course, if you have been starving for 30 days straight, and the 31st day, if you don't get food, then you starve to death. That's okay. I understand that but this is an extreme example. If you have a very strong need to feel connected, and this other person is not able to connect in that moment, and even though you asked, and they are unable to meet that need, well, you will not die, so you will learn that, okay, I had this intense need, I asked for help, they were not able to meet that need. Okay, I can meditate, this need will dissipate, my mood will change, I can contact another person, maybe they have more mental space to listen to me, whatever, right? So understand that, okay, your needs might feel very acute in the moment, or it might feel like it's so important to get them met in that very moment, but understand it's a fleeting thing. This too shall pass. This feeling of I have this need, it will pass too. So understand that it's okay if people are unable to respond to your needs in that very moment. It's absolutely okay. And this is also something that I tell myself, that okay, you can feel a little bit upset about the fact that somebody is not able to meet your need when you ask, when you communicate it. Well, that's your problem. It's my problem when I feel upset about that, because they need to have the choice to meet the need, or to meet to respond to my invitation, to my request, and I can't have it be a demand, because it will have a negative impact on the relationship. And sometimes it's okay to have a demand, right? We're all human, and understand each other, that okay, right now it's really really important. And okay, usually there's deeper layers, right? If like subconsciously you are almost like, okay, if they don't meet this need right now, then that means that they don't care about me. Okay, question these beliefs, right? Sometimes you can, in the moment it can be like that, and you can act a little bit upset about it. Okay, then you talk about it afterwards. You can be like, oh hey, I'm sorry, I was a little bit rude, or I felt so sad, and it made me a little bit disconnect from you in that moment, but I want you to know that it was just because I was really hoping that you would meet that need, because otherwise I would feel like you don't care about me. And I know that this is not true, but still this is how I felt, right? This is okay. Sometimes it happens. It's not a problem that you experience these situations. It's fine, right? But just try to improve on figuring out your needs every single day. Try to improve on communicating your needs every single day. Try to improve to raise your awareness, to expand your awareness on how you react, how you respond, how you invite people to meet your needs, or how you demand people to meet your needs. It's crucial to make this distinction. So again, to summarize, first of all, you want to look into yourself. How do I feel? In a moment, how do I feel? Pay attention to that. And try to make it like a daily practice from time to time. Just catch yourself, okay, how do I feel right now? Check in with yourself. It's good, it's healthy. Do that. You will learn so much from just doing this small little thing on a daily basis or even a weekly basis. Doesn't matter. As long as you take small steps towards raising your awareness, expanding your consciousness, being mindful about yourself, it pays off. It really pays off. So pay attention to, okay, how do I feel? Feel inside yourself. Right now I still feel excited, I am sharing this. I feel excited about that because I don't know why. Like I feel like, okay, hopefully I can help somebody with this, and it feels great to be excited to talk about these things because I suffered so much from it, and it took me so long to figure this all out, and now I can share my insights, and it's just really exciting to do that. Right? And of course, I'm not perfect. I'm not claiming to be perfect at all. Like I struggle with these things still to this day, and I will probably forever. Right? I'm not this enlightened Zen master, and even they probably also struggle with lots of things. Anyways, feel inside yourself. Then zoom in and pinpoint your actual need. How do you do this? Think about how you would want somebody to act in a certain way, like a specific behavior. What would you want them to do? And think about this because sometimes you're just like, well, I just want them to care. Well, okay, but what does it actually really mean for them to care? What can they do to show you that you care? And why would that specific behavior show you that they care? Think about this. It's really, really interesting to ask yourself this question. So let's say you feel a little bit tense in your chest, you feel a little bit anxious in your stomach, you have this tense feeling inside your body, and you notice that, okay, I just want my partner to care about me. This is my need right now. I just want them to care about me. Okay, think further. What can they do so I would feel that they care about me? Okay, they should send me a text or suggest to clean the house. Okay, what does it mean when they would send you a text and clean? Well, it means that they care about me. Okay, but why? Because they should know it's important for me to have a clean house. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, do they know this is important for you? Right? Have you told them? Can you accept that maybe sometimes they forget this because from their perspective it's not that important, right? Can you accept that people forget sometimes? Can you accept that people can be stuck up in their own worlds, in their own minds, to forget to pay attention to something that is not really part of their reality? Can you accept that? Think about this, right? So you have a need for them to care about you. Okay, what is this need? Is it, do you want to feel safe with your partner? Do you want to feel connected? Do you want to share a shared purpose? Do you want to access growth? Do you want to apply choice and freedom? What it is exactly that you want? Like for me, usually personally, it mostly comes down to a need for connection and safety, right? So if they act a certain way, if they do a certain behavior, that means that they are paying attention. That means that I am important enough for them to expend the time and energy to really think about this, and this makes me feel like they care and connected to me, right? For example, this is just a small example, right? So really think about that. And then it can help to read up on lists for the needs, right? I will repeat the 7 needs from the Nonviolent Communication material, and they are connection, honesty, play, physical well-being, peace, autonomy, and meaning. So these are usually, if you feel something, there is probably an underlying need that is causing this feeling, and the thoughts around this need and the meaning you attach to it, which cause these feelings. So ask yourself, after you zoom in onto the need, what is it that you really, really, really need? Like specifically, what is really, I have a need for security. I have a need for stability. I have a need for safety. I have a need for purpose, right? You figure out the exact need. And then, once you know all this, and it requires time, and don't be hard on yourself when you don't know it immediately from the start. It's a slow process that requires a lot of effort and energy and time and practice. It's a skill. Really figuring out your needs is a skill, and you learn it. And I learned it through iteration and through causing a lot of negative situations with other people, feeling upset, feeling resentful, and this is why I share this with you, so you can avoid that and you can actually be one step ahead. You can be one step ahead, so you don't have to cause negative feelings to the people you care about, because you want to avoid that. Of course, sometimes it's necessary to find yourself in a difficult situation because you can grow together, but in general, you want to avoid situations where you inflict unnecessary negative sensations or feelings onto another, right? So once you figure this all out, then you can proceed to asking for getting your needs met by the other people. And you can also ask and request yourself, because this is an interesting distinction, that sometimes we actually forego our own needs when we know we have them. So when we feel like, okay, right now I have a need for solitude or for stillness, and people invite me to go to the party, I forgo my own need. So I don't show up for myself. And this is really interesting, because this will also influence and impact the way you relate to others. If you don't show up for yourself, if you don't listen to your own needs and take care of your own needs when you can, you are actually betraying yourself. You're letting yourself down, and then this can generate a lot of internal resentment against yourself, right? So really also apply this process to yourself and ask yourself, okay, what do I really need? Can I give this to myself right now? Yes or no? If it's no, then usually it's fear. Usually it's just fear that prevents you from meeting your own needs. So think about that. Sometimes other people, they have the same. So if you study this process inside yourself, that okay, I have this need for resting, but I am afraid to do that because I would feel like a worthless piece of shit. So okay, how does it feel? Why are you afraid? What do you feel inside your body? Try it out, do it. Conquer the fear. Really pay attention to this whole process inside yourself and understand sometimes this is the exact process that somebody else is going through, or a similar. Of course, it's not exactly the same, but it could be a similar process where they feel afraid to meet your need because they think that, okay, maybe they will judge me, or I'm afraid that I will not do it the right way, or whatever, right? They can be afraid to do that too, right? Because it's also sometimes very scary to to see someone ask for your help and to want to do the best you can and to not be good enough. If you doubt yourself, your self-worth, and you think you're not good enough, you're afraid you're not good enough, and they ask you to meet their need, and you want to be perfectionistic about it, so you don't do it because you're afraid you will mess it up. Well, this happens too, right? So it's a very, very complex and complicated topic, and it requires a lot of nuance. So that's why I want to record a long video about it, because it's something that I struggle with so much, so many times. And I think it's really important for you to understand this process of figuring out your needs and then inviting other people to meet those needs, and being okay accepting when they don't, and understanding that your needs, they shift, they morph, they are transient, just like your thoughts, just like your feelings. So yes, it's important to share your needs, and it can build a really, really close, good relationship if you can trust the other person. If you know that they are capitalizing on your best interests, right? If you can trust the other person to do the best they can to meet your needs, if you communicate them to them, this can build tremendous trust. So it's a really important tool for relationship building, to start to communicate your needs in a respectful manner. And it's also really important to deal with your own responsibilities, and to be okay if the other person is not able to meet your need in that very moment, and maybe even ever, right? Then there's other ways. Then you will have to take responsibility for yourself to meet your need in a different way. But stay like authentic. Be authentic about it. Don't go meet that need in a sneaky way or something. Like if you have a need for connection and your partner, for example, is unable to give you that, then don't go sneaky get that connection somewhere else, like without first discussing it with them, right? Because it's important for you to know that they are really trying their best to meet your need, and sometimes they feel unable to do that. But if you can then share with them that I have this super strong need, would it be okay for you if I meet it in this way? Okay, now you can talk about it, now you can get consent from them, and then you can move further. But don't go and meet your needs without their consent first, because it can be very, very painful to learn about your partner meeting their needs with another person without you. If it's about intimate needs, right? Like if it's just about my need to play golf, and you don't play golf because you don't like it, so I go play golf with my friend, okay, sure. But if it's more like intimate needs, then you should be careful about it, and you should really discuss it with your partner first. So this is what I wanted to share about this very, very complex topic, and I will probably shoot more videos about this in the future, because I think it's really, really important for you to learn how to really, really discover your needs, what it means, how you can help people to understand you better, how you can accept it more when people are unable to meet your needs. Like this is, it's such a big part of the self-development journey, to accept that your needs are valid, to understand that it's not necessarily disturbing other people, and sometimes if it does, it's also okay, right? You learn, you grow, you try out, you trial and error, and I want to provide a little bit of a roadmap for you, how you can navigate this, because this is kind of the roadmap that I figured out for myself by trial and error, and by causing unnecessary negative impact on others. So I would like to at least provide you with some inspiration to avoid a little bit of that negative impact you can have on others by being one step ahead, by thinking about it a little bit in advance, and by maybe getting in touch with some concepts that make you think and make you realize, okay, yes, that's interesting what you said there. Let me try to pay attention to that, and hopefully you can learn something from this. So this is what I ultimately want to do with what I do with these videos, right? So thank you for watching. Thank you for being brave. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to me talk. If it helped, please feel free to click the like button, drop a comment below, look around on my channel, share it with somebody that you care about or that you think might be interested in these topics. I want to spread the energy and the excitement and the knowledge and the information to as many people as I can, because I would have loved to learn about this information when I was struggling with these exact topics. So yes, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.